Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of BSing Sports here on the BSing Network, where we do a little BS and we talk a whole lot of sports. With me, as always, on our prediction shows this year have been Jake and Ryan. The boys are here. Also, would like to mention that we are now back on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. So if you have an opportunity to go check those out, please do. Every view matters. Please go check them out, guys. How you doing tonight?
Good.
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. I looked at this slate of games. It's not as exciting as last week's slate. I feel like there's going to be a lot of disappointments. I feel like the styles of each teams that are matched up this week is not very conducive for good football. But then again, it is the NFL. And this year, more than ever, it's been a week-to-week game. And there's always surprises.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Ken Brandt says, what's up? What's up, Ken? Thanks for joining us here again. So on Thursday night, for those of you following along the last 13 weeks and into last year, we have a gentleman's bet going with our predictions. Again, we are going straight up against the spread and the over-under. All the points matter. Our placing, our seeding as it sits. Timmy last week with the second best week any of us have had. He could not catch me, which is still nice. However, he drags himself out of the basement here, and he goes all the way to first place. He went 33-15 last week, while the rest of us went 24-24. And as a result, Timmy is now in first place at 287-241. Ryan holds the second spot at 286-242. I am in third at 279-249. And Jake is in last at 274-254. Still very close between all of us. I mean, from last place to first place, you're talking it's only 11 or 12 games, whatever it is. Math is hard.
Yeah, and 12 games this year, that it's a little different than how we did it last year, where, Tim didn't have a chance to really catch up.
I like that better.
Now.
Yeah, exactly. This is the reason, like Ryan was just saying, why we're doing against the straight up and against the spread and the over unders is, makes it really interesting. We can all play catch up or take a big lead or fall behind. What jersey does Jake have to wear? It's not a jersey. It's just a shirt. We're not going to make anybody buy a jersey. I'm not buying a damn Cowboys jersey. You can bet your ass I ain't buying a Cowboys jersey. It would just be a shirt, and his would be the Raiders. If you haven't been paying attention, he does not like the Raiders.
No, fuck the Raiders.
All right. So on Thursday night, the Seahawks and the Cowboys had a really good game there in Dallas. Dallas ends up holding on. It's Dallas not to cover, and over was
Jake. I see you took a bit of a gamble there with Seahawks and under.
I did, and it did not pay off. I saw everybody had the over, and I was just like, this should be easy. Maybe I can get one. Maybe Dallas's defense is good, but they're not. So
as a result, the Jake goes 1-2 in the opening game of the week. The three of us, Ryan, Tim, and I, all go 3-0. So first game on Sunday. The Denver Broncos, who are on a 5-game win streak, 6-5, are at the Houston Texans, who are also 6-5. Texans are favored by 3.5 points. Over under is 47.5. I think it's my week to go first. Is that right? Bill, Jake, Ryan?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Sure.
Oh no, screwed that one up. Go back.
Who did the picks this week?
That would be Jake.
What did I mess up?
Is it 1960 again, or when did Pittsburgh go from H to no H or no H to H?
I got to start screening these before I copy and paste them.
No, I'm asking because I legitimately forget. Like, is Pittsburgh currently spelled with the H or without?
Yes.
Okay.
Pittsburgh is currently spelled with the H, yes.
Yeah, I know it changed, I think, in the 70s, so I was genuinely curious. Okay, Jake, good job. And I guess the Falcon is only one player.
Yeah, no, I mean, they only have a few good players.
I gotta start screening these. Moving into the picks, though. Listen, Texans are coming off of a bit of a tough loss there. Again, Dallas or the Broncos have won 5 straight. I think I'm going to take the Broncos on the road here, even though Texans are favored. So give me the Broncos. Obviously, I don't have to take them to cover or not cover. And I'm going to go with the under here, 47.5. I feel like that's a really good number. I just think it ends up coming in under that. So give me the Broncos and the under. Jake?
Yeah, no, copy and paste for me. I did just get an update that Tank Dell is playing. So, um,
Shit, I might be going Texans here.
yeah, give me Texans not to cover that 3.5 point spread and the under.
Yeah, I switched mine to that too with the information that Tank Dell is playing. Ryan.
Yeah, I'm taking the Texans not to cover, but I'm taking the over. I know this isn't the same Broncos team that gave up 70 points to the Miami Dolphins. They're obviously playing a lot better on particularly the defensive side of the football. However, Vegas must know something that we don't, implying that the Texans are going to score 25.5 points based on spread and over under. So I'm gonna assume that they believe that this is going to be a shootout, that there's probably something favoring that way, and I'm going to lean that way as well.
All right, I like it. All right, so again, Ryan, Texans no cover over. Bill and Jake, Texans no cover under. Timmy, Broncos, and the over. Chargers at 4-7 are visiting the absolutely atrocious Patriots at 2-9, who are starting Bailey Zappi. 6.5 point favorites are the Chargers. Over under is 40.5. Jake, you get first go on this one.
So I'm gambling here, and I'm taking the Patriots here to beat the Chargers. I don't trust the Chargers. I think they are going to lose this game, and Brandon Staley is finally going to get fired. This is the one that puts it over. The Patriots are at home. They have a good defense, and I think with Stevenson, they can put up enough points, hopefully, to
get to the over.
Give me the under.
Ryan?
It does seem like pretty Chargerish to Charger this game and somehow lose, but I am going to take the Chargers here. It's simply on the principle that they are the better team on paper. I don't think, even if they lose, that Brandon Staley gets fired. I think that's an end-of-the-year conversation. I do think that they covered this spread, 6.5. I mean, I just don't like the Patriots, and I actually think that this game does go under as well. Patriots just put up no fight. I think we were talking about a couple weeks ago that the Giants are the worst roster in football, and that has changed since the Giants just beat the Patriots. The Patriots are abysmal. Worst team in football.
I would guess. I copy and paste everything Ryan just said. Chargers to cover and the under. Going back to the Brandon Staley situation, I agree with Ryan there too. I don't think he gets fired during the season. That'll be a move they make in the offseason. And then, like I said earlier in the year, I believe that once that is done, they'll just name Kellen Moore as the starting head coach, and they'll go from there.
Who's the backup head coach? Just curious.
Is he?
No, because you said starting head coach, so I'm like, who's the backup head coach?
I'm sorry. That's a good point. Sorry. Screw you guys. Cardinals at 2-10 are visiting Pittsburgh Steelers, because Cardinals, and then instead of typing in Steelers, you wrote Pittsburgh. 7-4.
I have no idea why I did that. I'm like trying to rack my brain right now of what I was thinking when I did that.
1970 wants their team name back.
Yeah. 5.5 point spread is the favored Pittsburgh Steelers. Over under is 41.5. Ryan.
God, dude, this is crazy. I'm taking the Steelers, right? They finally cleared 400 yards of total offense for the first time in 41 games or something like that last week. However, they still managed to only score one offensive touchdown. So they're at least heading in the right direction, right? But I'm not taking them to cover 5.5 point spread. I just don't trust that offense enough, and I'm taking the under for the same exact reason. Now, I do think the Steelers are a better team. Obviously, they've found ways to win, which, unless you're the Eagles, that's the only thing that matters. But if you're the Eagles, people nitpick your wins, which is fine, whatever. But yeah, I'm taking the Steelers.
Yeah. Even with Kyler Murray back, the Cardinals don't look formidable, at all, in my opinion. They got really lucky earlier in the year with Josh Dobbs, and they beat the Cowboys. And that Pittsburgh defense is really good. So give me the Steelers. I agree, though. I don't think they cover a 5.5 point spread. I'm looking at a 4-point victory here, 3 or 4 point victory here. And I don't think it gets to the 41.5 marker. I think that's a really good number. Ryan says it week in and week out when we get to games. I think this is one of those ones where Vegas has it dead on. So yeah, give me the Steelers not to cover and the under. Jakey Poo? Oh, I can't call you that anymore. Never mind.
Why not?
Why? He's in last place.
Because Allie called Jake Elliott Jakey Poo before he kicked that 59-yarder in the pouring rain, and I dubbed that I would not call Jake Jakey Poo anymore.
Oh yeah, because Jake Elliott's clutch and Jake is in last place, so yeah, can't really.
Okay, give me the Cardinals here and give me the over. I think
You are really grasping at straws here, brother.
I mean, buddy, it's only week 13. We got 5 weeks left. You got plenty of time to catch up.
Oh, I know we have plenty of time to catch up, but this is just how I feel. I just have a feeling that the Cardinals are going to win this game. I think the Steelers are a well-coached team, and it's going to be an interesting game. But I don't think they cover, so why not take the gamble on the Cardinals to win? I could see Kyler Murray breaking off a 40-yard touchdown run. He's looking more comfortable. He's going to be more comfortable, and I just do not trust Kenny Pickett.
I mean, he has a Kyler Murray referencing. He has a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown in each of the 2 games since he's returned from injury. So he doesn't really seem to have too much rust. I wonder if that was kind of the logic behind holding him out for what seemed like so long on the Cardinals' part.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, they could figure it out and
Yeah.
make sure he was 100% healthy before they try and put him in jeopardy since he has that big contract.
Yes, and he is their starting quarterback of the future, not Caleb Williams or whatever other imaginary scenario fans want to make up that just don't realize money is a thing.
I do think they will get Marvin Harrison Jr., and that will be very interesting next year.
I think even that's a pipe dream because I know that like fantasy football has kind of changed the reality of the way that like fans look at real football. Like I almost would be surprised if Marvin Harrison Jr. was a top 5 pick, not because he doesn't deserve it, not because I don't believe in his talent, but because it just seems like such an obvious, fantasy want move. Like Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Cardinals just seems too obvious, like when was, I mean, I don't, I have a hard time believing it because it's just too obvious. Too obvious happened.
I would be surprised if the Cardinals didn't bolster their offensive line to try and protect Kyler Murray. So that's where I think the Cardinals are going in the draft is offensive line.
I can see it.
I mean, they drafted Paris Johnson last year. I think he's done okay this year. I think he needs some time to grow into the role, but I could see it too. I could see them going defense. I mean, they definitely need help on the defensive side of the football.
That's true. Don't worry, fans. We will do a draft preview when the time comes.
Yeah, and we've got all offseason to just BS about teams and their weaknesses and strengths and whatnot.
Exactly. Next game, we have the Lions at 8-3 at the Saints at 5-6. 4.5-point favorites are the Lions. Over under is 45.5 points. I get to go first on this one. I'm taking the Lions. The Saints don't impress me. I do that every time. That's my bad. I'm taking the Lions.
Back like that.
Which I feel like so when it's like this, it's bigger on the screen. People can see what I'm writing. When you do it the other way, it shrinks. See?
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I
nobody
thought this
wants
was
to
better.
see us. They want to see the chart.
Correct. Can confirm. Yeah, 100%.
Me.
So I got the Lions. I do have them to cover the 5.5-point spread, and I'm also going with the over here. Tim, as you can see, goes with the over as well. So give me the Lions to cover and the over. I just think Jared Goff has a pretty good bounce back game. He's played poorly in 2 straight weeks. I think this is the week he gets it going again. You'll see a great combination of Monty and Gibbs, which they've done most of the season when Monty's been healthy. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is gonna get involved again, which he's done all season long. So yeah, give me the Lions to cover and the over on this one. Jake.
Give me, man, I really want to do it. Give me the Lions here, not to cover and the over. I think the Saints defense is decent. The Lions defense is ranked 28th in the league right now. They are terrible. I think Derek Carr is going to have time to throw the ball. As far as I know, Olave is coming back. And I haven't heard anything about Rashid Shaheed.
I think he's out.
Is he out?
Yeah.
But Kamara is going to do him. Like, I think this game's a lot closer than it's going to be, and I think it's going to be a shootout.
Ryan.
Yeah. See, with the Lions playing like really, really bad the last couple weeks, I kind of balk at, my pick, really. However, the Saints being depleted at wide receiver, Chris Olave was in concussion protocol this week. It sounds like he will play. He did practice in full yesterday, which is super helpful. I'm going to take the Lions no cover, though. Right now, they seem to be on a slippery slope, losing to the Packers on Thanksgiving. The week before that, playing absolutely abysmal football, having to, make a fourth quarter comeback. Jared Goff has not looked great. I think he has 6 turnovers in the last 2 weeks, which seems to be very unlike Jared Goff. And as Jake has already alluded to, the Saints defense is no slouch. I mean, they're not what we expected them to be, but they're not terrible. So I'm going to take the Lions no cover. But I will take the over. I think the Saints, can throw the football. The Lions have been a little susceptible the last few weeks. So I expect this to be, some points being scored.
All right.
No, I want to take the under.
Do you?
No, I'm going to leave it.
Okay. That's fine. I mean, listen, I'll let you do it. I don't care. It's your picks. We have we have the Falcons at 5-6 up in New Jersey, taking on the Jets at 4-7. 3.5-point favorites are the Falcon. Solo Falcon. Over under is 33.5. Jake, you get first go.
If you listened yesterday to the podcast, this one has underwritten all over it. Both these offenses are not going to do great. The Jets defense is elite. They're going to shut down Ritter in the run game, and Ritter's not going to be able to throw the ball. Give me the Falcon.
Jesus. Everything you just said made me think you were going Jets on it, man.
I cannot bet. I cannot give a pick on a Boyle-led Jets team. I just can't. But I don't think the Falcons cover, and I have the under. I see like a 17-10 game tops.
Yeah, 33.5 is one of the lower scores we've seen this season. I don't think it's the smallest. I think we had a 32.5 a couple weeks ago, but yeah, this is one of the smaller ones. Ryan.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Falcons here too, or the Falcon rather. It's alluding to what Jake said. I just cannot bring myself to. I mean, even if I was in Jake's shoes in last place, like I would not be able to bring myself to bet on a Tim Boyle-led team. The offense for the Jets is just abysmal. They need Aaron Rodgers back so badly. And the Falcons find these weird ways to win football games, albeit very close. So I'm going to take the Falcons. I do think that they cover. I'll take the over. That's a rough one. It's not going to be much more than that, but I'm taking the over.
I'm going against I can't take Tim Boyle-led Jets team. That Jets defense is legit. Ritter hasn't seen a defense that good yet. He's going to make mistakes. They're going to get turnovers. The defense will score in this game. I'm taking the Jets, and I'm also going with the under. I'm going to match Timmy's Jets and under on this one. Regardless of what that offense does, the defense is so good that the Falcons aren't going to be able to do anything. So I'm going Jets and under, and I'm doing it pretty confidently, to be honest with you.
Okay.
We have the Dolphins at 8-3 visiting the Commanders at 4-8. 9.5-point favorites are the Dolphins. Over under is 49.5. The Commanders just fired did that happen last week? Jack Del Rio and someone else.
That's Jack Del Rio was fired. That's Ron Rivera's attempt to try and save face.
Yeah, save his life.
Which won't happen. He'll be fired at the end of the year too.
Oh yeah.
It's your pick, Ryan.
I'm taking the Dolphins. Better football team, faster. Jake loves Sam Howell, but they're just a better football team. But I am not going to take them to cover. I think the Commanders have put up some fights against some pretty good teams. I think Sam Howell can move the football against that secondary that's been a little up and down at times. I know that they're getting healthier, so they're getting a little better. But the Commanders just relentlessly throw the football. So that should play well for them. And I'm taking the under on this one. I think 49.5 is a lot. I don't think it'll be very far under that, but I still expect some points to be scored.
I'm going to go Dolphins not to cover and the over for a lot of the same things that Ryan just said. The Dolphins team is so fast, and they got so many weapons on the offensive side of the football. I think they are going to score, but I think the Commanders are going to keep the game closer than other people than most people think that it's going to be. I see the Dolphins winning somewhere around 7 points. Or 8 points or something like that. But the Commanders, again, they go shot for shot with the Dolphins here in this game, and I think it goes in the over. Dolphins not to cover and the over.
I mean, copy and paste that for me. Like I said, I'm a big Sam Howell fan. As Ryan has said, I love what he does. I love him in that offense. And I think he's learning. I don't think he turned the ball over last week. And that's kind of been his knock. And so I think he's progressing as a quarterback. They're going to put up points. Miami doesn't have the best defense. It's gotten a lot better since, Jalen Ramsey. Blanking on that last name, but it's gotten better. So give me the over. I think it's a shootout, but the Dolphins ultimately come out on top.
Sam Howell threw an interception last week and then 3 the week prior.
Yeah.
Panthers just fired their head coach, Frank Reich. Panthers are 1-10 at the Buccaneers at 4-7. This is technically a division rival game. 5.5 point favorite to the Buccaneers. Over under is 36.5. I'm going to go the Buccaneers here. I don't think a head coaching change is going to shake up that locker room as much as I think the ownership hopes it will. We can discuss on another show if you want about how stupid it was to hire Frank Reich and then not even give him a full season to try with a new rookie quarterback to try and get it going.
Why do we wait for a new show? Go for it.
That's fine. Yeah. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that the ownership of that team and the general manager of that team hire a guy in Frank Reich who has a good pedigree as an offensive-minded coach. You draft a rookie quarterback for him, probably not the guy he wanted, the one that you wanted, and then he's 1-10 going into week 13, and you cut him loose. You don't even give him a full season to try and develop this young quarterback. It's absolutely absurd. Pardon my language, you're a fucking idiot. You're not going to win games like that.
I think they did screw Bryce Young over a little bit, just in the sense of a continuity perspective, right? Like you see these rookie quarterbacks really tend to struggle 2 and 3 years in when you consistently flip play callers and schemes on them. And for a continuity perspective, I think firing him in the middle of the season was not particularly the best idea. And I'll agree to a certain extent. They didn't really build a roster around Bryce Young for Frank Reich to actually have success. At the same time, I don't really think it was that bad. I mean, there's been no development from Bryce Young. He looks exactly the same from week 1 to week 13. There's been no sign of Jonathan Mingo whatsoever consistently this year. So I think that the pieces that they did have just were not moving at all. Like they were stuck in neutral from week 1. So maybe Frank Reich wasn't the answer. And truthfully, I don't think he was. I think even in Indianapolis, I don't think he was very particularly great head coach. It's starting to look more and more like he was kind of carried by Doug Peterson's presence when he was on the Eagles. But nonetheless, I don't necessarily agree with the decision to fire him midseason. I think that kind of starts, a real downturn of issues for Bryce Young, who, like I said, just has not looked any different from week 1 to now.
I agree. Jake, you want to have any input in this?
No, Ryan said it all, but I do disagree with the Jonathan Mingo. He is getting the targets. Just Bryce Young doesn't have time to make an accurate throw. He's also my sleeper to have a big week this week in fantasy. So, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that players are still on that team after the trade deadline, specifically like Burns on the defensive line. I'm surprised at the deadline they didn't make moves to like get more picks. Like you're talking, they're in a situation, especially now they don't have a head coach, where you're going to need to bolster up somewhere, and it's going to have to be in the draft because free agents aren't really going to want to come to you. You do a bad contract with Miles Sanders, something that I think every Eagles fan realized was going to happen was a bad contract. And now Miles Sanders isn't even starting. You got what is it, $15 million on the hook or $16 million, whatever it is on the hook for Miles Sanders, and the dude's a backup to Chuba Hubbard.
I think it's Chuba.
Chuba Hubbard.
I always say Chuba Hubbard. No, it flows a lot better than Chuba.
My apologies, Chuba. But yeah, for a lot of those things, give me the Buccaneers here in this game. I think they cover the 5.5 point spread. And I'm going to get this game to go on the over. I think the Buccaneers put up a lot of points.
Chuba Hubbard should change his name to Chalupa Hubbard, reference to the league.
Nicely done. Jake.
Things I would not do is that.
Hey, buddy, I'll give you a first overall pick if you let me name your kid.
We'll talk about it. Oh, man, this game seems like a trap. It's a division game, but give me the Buccaneers not to cover and the under. I do not think the Panthers are able to put up a bunch of points, and if they do, it's going to be garbage time points. But I see like a 24-10 game, and I'm just praying Bryce Young throws it to Adam Thielen and Jonathan Mingo 20 times.
Buddy, you don't think about anything before you say it, do you?
What?
Buccaneers, no cover, but you predict a 24-10 game?
He did, yeah.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, no, I was thinking about the over-under. I could see the man. Give me the Buccaneers to cover, then. You're right. Thanks, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to let it slide.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm taking the Buccaneers to cover, and I'm actually going to take the over. I'm wondering if Frank Reich getting fired kind of sparks the offense to score a whopping 17 points or something crazy like that, so that way they can score just enough points to get me to the over. I do see 24-17. Which does involve the Buccaneers actually covering like I predicted and also going over. So, outside of this, it does smell like a trap game, but I don't trust the trap. The Panthers are just that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a weird feeling about that game.
This is another trap game.
Sorry. Next game we have. No. It was, I think one of the dogs tried to push the door open or something, but I can't hear anything outside of the headphones. So I thought I heard something, but it doesn't mean that I did hear something. I don't know. So next game we have the Colts at 6-5 visiting the Titans at 4-7. Colts are favored by 1.5 points. Over under is 42.5. Jake, you get first run on this one.
I feel like this is a trap game, and solely because I'm a Broncos fan, I'm picking the Titans here because if the Colts lose and the Broncos win, Denver is in a playoff spot. So give me the Titans and the over. I think Derrick Henry has a big game here. The Colts' run defense is not that great, and I think they control the – man.
Ryan's fact-checking you on the Colts defense not being good.
Hey, that's always good. Make sure I'm not saying some crazy stuff.
Well, I've already got you once. I'm sure you haven't checked the chat, though.
No, he doesn't check the chat.
I do not.
It's all right. Ryan, you're up on this one. Colts 6-5, Titans 4-7.
Well, believe it or not, he's actually right.
There you go.
I kind of know things about football. A little bit.
Colts do have a bottom 10 run defense. Derrick Henry, had a good game last week. I could see that happening again. I am taking the Titans. I'm actually kind of surprised they're not favored here. It's probably because the Colts are also playing pretty good football over the last few weeks. Outside of getting, as much as I try not to blame the refs, they really got screwed over by the refs against the Browns. Granted, they could have not given up 39 points, but that there was some really suspicious calls in the end zone that really put them out of position. So I'm taking the Titans, though. I do think it goes over. I think the Colts are rolling on offense right now, but as Jake alluded to, their defense has kind of been up and down, particularly in the run game.
With the knowledge that the Colts defense is not particularly good in the run game, I expect the Titans to come out on top. Prior to Ryan having given me that information, I probably would have gone the Colts because the Colts are playing pretty good football. But no, I agree with Jake then in this scenario that Derrick Henry probably has himself a game, right? Plays really well, to the point, downhill, touchdowns. So give me the Titans in the over as well, 42.5. I feel like both teams are going to score points. I expect Will Levis to actually look like a competent quarterback in this game. And yeah, give me the Titans and the over. Ryan gets to pick the next game.
As you guys may or may not know, I went live with Ted Talks Ball. Always a pleasure to be on with Ted. I appreciate the fact that he provides a lot of context and that he's not, a Homer 49ers fan. Although some of the chat was giving me some shit for some of the things I said. That being said, I'm taking the Eagles. I'll put my money where my mouth is, right? I predicted the Eagles would win a close one there. I do think that the Eagles probably get off to a little bit better of a start. This is probably one of those games that each team, for particularly different reasons, has had circled on their calendar for a long time, right? The 49ers believe they got cheated out of an NFC Championship game victory, or at least a closer game with the injury to Brock Purdy. And the Eagles, have been listening to the 49ers players say stuff about that, or, how illegitimate the Eagles 10-1 record is this year. So, and to be, for our cases of the pool 3.5, but right now it's 2.5 point underdogs at home is a little disrespectful. But I'm taking the under. It's supposed to rain there in Philly. I'm not expecting, the 49ers offense to be able to do much. According to Ted, Brock Purdy doesn't play very well in the rain, which bodes well for the Eagles. So I'm going to take the under there.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles here as well. Ryan, I think you said it best last week. They keep finding ways to win. So until somebody beats them, I got no reason not to take them. So give me the Eagles here. Also, I did watch that TED Talk show with Ryan and heard that Purdy does not play super great in the rain. And then if you look up statistically, he does turn the ball over at a much larger clip in the rain. Not to mention the trash talk that Deebo Samuel has said about James Bradberry, how professionally James Bradberry handled it. I expect Bradberry to have a big game against Brock Purdy in that secondary. So again, give me the Eagles here. 47.5. I think the game stays under as well. I think it's going to be closer, resembling that Chiefs game score with the Eagles 2 weeks ago, and not so much that Bills game last week. So yeah, give me the Eagles and the under on this one. I like what the Niners are doing over there. It's just until the Eagles lose, I have no reason to say the Eagles will lose. That's just how I feels about it. Jake?
I'm going to go the odd man out here. I will go the 49ers solely because y'all all took the Eagles. So I'm going to try and make up some ground here. I feel like this is going to be a close game. I have the 49ers to not cover, and I'm going to have
smart.
The over.
All right, Timmy goes with the Eagles and the over on this one. This is obviously the game of the week, right? Like, I don't think that we have to make any arguments about it.
For sure, this is the best game on the slate, and I'm surprised that they didn't flex it sooner. To be honest with you, especially with the injury to Joe Burrow. However, they did do their first Monday Night Football flex, and it does involve moving the Eagles to Monday Night Football in 2 weeks. So, yeah, if this game was in San Francisco, I might lean the 49ers for the sake of objectivity. However, I feel like it's just criminally disrespectful to make the Eagles underdogs at home.
When they're 10-1, like if both teams are 8-3, I totally get it. But they're 10-1.
That's why
you don't win 10 games by accident. You just don't.
No, it's
egregious
that people think that the Eagles are illegitimate.
Ryan and I could talk Eagles for hours and hours and hours, so we are going to get off of that.
I mean, we're not going to get off of it yet. It's like I said earlier, right? Winning games was the only thing that mattered until the Eagles started winning games, because nobody questioned how badly Tom Brady was beating teams when he was winning 6 Super Bowls. Now all of a sudden that the Eagles are good, we need to question how badly they're blowing teams out or not blowing teams out. Last year it was the schedule's easy. This year it's the refs help them. I mean, next year, what's it going to be? Because they're going to be good next year too. So what's the reason going to be next year? Just so I can get out ahead of it,
Dude, you are so damn correct on that. 100%. I agree with everything you just said right there. Why does it matter how they're winning? They're winning. They're 10-1.
It doesn't matter. It never mattered. It mattered to people who hate the Eagles. That's really all it matters.
You don't see us giving Jake shit for the Broncos winning 5 straight, do you? No, you don't. So shut the hell up.
No, they're playing good football. They're winning.
I hate how they've won those games, but yes, they have won.
They won.
That's all that matters.
Correct. I get the next one. We got the Browns at 7-4 visiting the Rams at 5-6. For those of you who don't know, if you haven't heard because you're living under a rock, Deshaun Watson got surgery on his shoulder. He's definitely not in. And they're starting Joe Flacco.
Yeah, Dorian Thompson-Robinson's out too, so it's Flacco time.
They are starting Joe Flacco. The Rams have looked better the last few weeks. They are sitting at 5-6, 3.5-point favorites are the Rams. Over under is 39.5. I'm going Rams on this one. Like you said, the Rams have looked better the last few weeks. I didn't hit the right thing there. Rams have looked better the last few weeks. Matthew Stafford looks like he's really getting into a groove. You got Puka Nacua, you got Cooper Kupp. Higbee is catching a whole bunch of balls there at out of the tight end position, and Kyron Williams is giving them something in the run game, right? So yeah, give me the Rams on this one. I know that Browns defense is good, but they have been susceptible when the attack is pretty even, and the Rams are pretty good at that. So give me the Rams. I'll take them not to cover, kind of hedge my bet there a little bit. And I'm going to go with the under on this one. But yeah, Rams come out victorious. Jake.
Copy and paste that same thing. I got the Rams winning this game, but I don't think they cover. I think the Browns defense is fantastic. I see 2017 game, and trying to do my math in my head right now, that is under, and that does not cover. So yeah.
I don't have any faith in Joe Flacco at 39 years old. He didn't look good from 34 on, so why is he going to look good now? So I've got no faith in Joe Flacco. So that's where I'm at on this one. Ryan?
The only reason that I think Joe Flacco will do anything is he has Amari Cooper and their offensive line is good. So he will have time.
Interesting you bring up Amari Cooper. I read this stat about Elijah Moore the other day that if you believe in metrics, his yards per target is like 3 times greater with Joe Flacco than any other quarterback he's ever played with. So I think if anybody's going to have a big game, I think it's Elijah Moore because he's the only one that has chemistry with Joe Flacco.
I like it. I like that incentive. Nice.
Yeah, that being said, I'm taking the Rams as well. The Rams are actually competing for a playoff spot, right? They have an opportunity here now that Stafford's healthy. Kyron Williams is back. And I saw a stat, and I think I text this to you guys in the group, that the expected points scored for the Rams is like 12-point difference when Kyron Williams is on the field versus when he's off. It's almost like the offense runs through Kyron Williams now. I know for the last couple of years we've kind of associated it with Cooper Kupp, but Kyron Williams has really taken over that offense there, almost, eliminating Puka Nacua's breakout and Cooper Kupp altogether to the point where he's just getting the football so much. So I do think that they eventually need to kind of scale back on his usage, right? Kyron Williams is less than 200 pounds. He's not going to be able to handle that workload throughout a whole season. Obviously, he just came off of IR. But I think the Rams cover as well, and I think it goes over. I think the Rams kind of make a statement here. I think that they throw the football a little bit more. I think that they get to some good offense here. And the Browns last week showed a little bit of susceptibility on defense.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I get it. Next, we have the Chiefs at 8-3 visiting the Packers at 5-6. Packers are also trying to get in the playoffs. 6.5-point favorites are the Chiefs. Over under is 42.5. Jake.
This game has me at a crossroads. It's at Lambeau. The Chiefs offense all year has been awful up until last week, and I'm scared that they might have figured it out. Rashid Rice looks good, and I don't know what to do for this game, so I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win, obviously, but I think it's a lot closer than people think. I know Ryan and I have that bet for Reed and Dobbs. It is close, neck and neck. The Packers have the offense. It's totally, does Jordan Love turn the ball over or not? And give me the over on this game.
You didn't tell me if they're covering.
Oh, I said, not to cover. I think it's close. I apologize.
Okay, sorry about that. Ryan.
I'm taking the Chiefs here. I'm also taking them not to cover. It's in Lambeau. The Packers, they're coming off a solid win in Detroit, right, against the playoff team. They get a long week, right? That Thanksgiving game was on a Thursday. And I'm taking the over here. I'm actually kind of surprised Vegas has the line as close as they do. So that's indicating to me that they believe that this game's going to be close, and I do as well.
Yeah, right there. I'm just going to copy and paste what you guys said. Patrick Mahomes hasn't looked fantastic. I will say we can touch on Rashid Rice a little bit. He's starting to look like a legitimate number one wide receiver there in Kansas City, which is something that Mahomes had been lacking all season. And then out of nowhere is like, you get a game like the Raiders, and that can spark something between a quarterback and a wide receiver, and it can continue on for the rest of the season. So I expect them to be a little bit better, especially when you have a guy like Rashee Rice with his speed. It opens up Travis Kelce on the underneath. So I expect a little bit more production out of Travis Kelce as well. But yeah, give me the Chiefs not to cover and the over. We have the Bengals at 5-6. Again, Ryan already talked about it. Joe Burrow-less. Bengals at 5-6, visiting the Jaguars at 8-3. Over under is 37.5. The Bengals are favored by 8.5 points.
Son of a gun.
You messed that up, right?
I did.
Yeah. Jesus, Jake.
Yeah, making me look stupid. I'm the one over here saying these things out loud, man.
That's probably why he's messing it up.
Jaguars are favored by 8.5 points. Fix that real quick because that's going to bother me if I don't.
Yes.
Boom. That's better. Ryan, you get first pick on this one.
Well, I'm going with the obvious. I'm going with Jacksonville, right? They've been actually very unimpressive at home this year. All three of their losses are at home. They're 6-0 on the road, if I'm not mistaken. However, I don't think that the Bengals, led by Jake Browning, are able to keep up with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think their offense looks very fluent. I think that they play a solid game. I don't think that they blow them out by any stretch, right, as indicated by the over-under. But I think that they just fluently are in control of the game the whole time. So I'm going to go Jacksonville, no cover, and it's a good line. I'm going to go a little over. I think that they just barely peaked that number. It's a good line.
I'm going to go with Tim on this one. I think the Jaguars do cover an 8.5 point spread. I saw very little that was promising out of Jake Browning last week. So I expect the Jaguars to bring pressure, Doug Peterson to have a good offensive game plan against that defense there for Cincinnati, and the Jaguars to get out big, and the Bengals have to play catch up, but just not get it done. I think the Jags win by 10 points, and I do think it goes over. Jake.
Yeah, give me the Jags to cover in the under. I don't think the Bengals are going to put up points, and that's just how it goes.
Fair enough.
Hey, solid analysis.
When you don't put up points, it's going under.
Yeah. Amen, man. Hey, we seen Dallas do a 44-0 shutout or whatever it was. So
that's true.
Really over.
That is true.
That is
All right,
true.
so that is it for our gentlemen's bet predictions, week 13 predictions. If you go on our predictions and you like them and you decide to bet on them, don't forget to throw us a little stipend.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, if you throw even $1 like on all of those, like straight down the line, might as well, right? It's $3, for spreads, $3 for, between straight up spreads and over unders. Go ahead and give us a shout.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. Got the betting expert Jake online. So
yeah. But you guys got anything else? Or we're good.
No, just keep liking, keep sharing. We appreciate all the support.
Yeah, and
yes,
keep subscribing. Subscribers are going up. We are back on TikTok, like I said. So if you enjoy short videos for entertainment, there will certainly be some bloopers on there, all of which will probably be Jake's spelling errors. That should give us a few videos a week for sure.
100%. But tell your friends, tell your family, tell them to subscribe. Trying to make something here.
It's just clicking a button.
It really is. It's all it is. But yeah, thank you for joining us here on BSing Sports, where we do a little BS and we talk a whole lot of sports. Thank you and have a great evening.